What's up, you guys? Happy Tuesday. It's good to see you. It's been a while since I've last been on one of these live streams, but I am super excited to get into today's session. So if you are joining for the very first time, I try to do these live Q&As at least once a week. The last couple weeks have been a little busy. I've been out of town in Georgia. I had something else come up. I forget what it was. But it's been good. Oh yeah, yesterday my kids had a sports game, so couldn't miss that. Had to be there for my family. But it is fantastic to be with you guys here today. If this is your first time being here, the point of these live sessions is to offer you guys an opportunity to be able to ask questions about AI, automation, and systems from someone who has been doing this kind of stuff for over a decade now. So my experience is in working as a software engineer. I've worked at startups, I've worked at a large corporation, looking at a new role coming up here pretty soon as well. And so this is a fantastic opportunity if you just have questions about how to use automation, how to use AI to help you grow your business, to help you get back your time. Please bring those questions in. I'm happy to answer all of them. It doesn't really matter how basic the question is. It could be advanced, it could be basic. I'm happy to answer all questions. So please don't be afraid to come bring those questions. If you haven't already seen it, I probably don't have this up on YouTube because I was running a little behind, but if you're on Facebook, I should have a link there right now for you to be able to go ahead and click and start submitting your questions. It's the link that says tally. It'll take you to a form where you can put your questions in. And then if you're on YouTube, let me go ahead and put this in here for you so that way you have access to it throughout the session. Today, we are going to be doing something a little special as we have the last couple of sessions. So what I've been doing is taking some time towards the end to do a giveaway of Alex Hormozi's new book, $100 Million Money Models. We have 5 copies to give away today. And so if you are here and you would like a copy of Alex Hormozi's book, then you have the opportunity to go ahead and submit an entry. I'm going to post that form here in just a moment. If you're on YouTube, here's the form for you to be able to ask your questions. I'm going to see those come in live. So go ahead and start filling those out. And then if you're here and want to participate in the giveaway, let me go ahead and grab today's unique link. I'm going to go ahead and pop it here in YouTube. I believe it's already on Facebook, but I will double check in just a moment. So here is today's giveaway link. I'm going to pin this here so that way it's very easy for you to see. If you're coming in from our AI Employee Club, you should also see those 2 links in the chat in the live stream within our community. So anyways, that's the gist of what's going to go on. I'm going to do that giveaway towards the end. So that'll be in about 20-25 minutes roughly, because we do about 30-minute sessions. And then what we'll do is a drawing. So I don't have the drawing completely automated just yet. I've been working on a giveaway bot to help me facilitate that process. And that is actually something that we've been kind of doing together in the live streams in our private sessions inside of the AI Employee Club. So hopefully that's going to be done here pretty soon. I've made a little bit of progress, but I got to pick it back up tonight. All right, y'all. I think that's enough introduction. Again, if you guys have any questions, and I think I missed it here on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, I'm having some trouble getting this thing to load. Give me just a second, guys. I want to make sure y'all have plenty of time to submit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is start going through these questions. Again, if you have any questions, there's a link there. You can submit your questions anytime, and I'm going to see those come in live on my side. In the meantime, let me also go ahead and pull this view up. So you can also scan this QR code if you don't want to click the link for the giveaway that is in the chat. So those are the 2 links. Ask your questions and enter for a giveaway. All right, let's go ahead and pick up our questions for the day. And there have been some that have come in since the last time that I did one of these. So we're going to go ahead and start working our way through it. All right, so we had one here. I don't think I've done this one before. So this is from, well, they put their full name as Arshia. Arshia asks, what do you think would be the role of medical engineering in the next 10 years? Do you think it's promising, and what exactly should one think about? Okay, so Arshia, I guess it depends on what you mean by medical engineering, because if you're talking about like bio, what's the right word for this? See, I'm unfamiliar with the field as far as like biomedical tech. So I'm struggling to even come up with some of the terms. But let's just say if you're talking about like the actual physical biomedical tech, that's a little hard to say. I've seen some very kind of interesting things as far as, improvements in long-term health, like especially around regenerative type medicine. So things like red light therapy, cryotherapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, all these different types of things. So, that's kind of what I've been paying attention to. I think a lot of that stuff is really promising and seems very interesting, because there's I think a lot of, I guess, how do I say this other than traditionally, it seems like medicine has always tried to retroactively address issues rather than proactively address issues. So like giving you some medicine to help you with certain symptoms that you have, right? That's retroactive. Versus a proactive approach is, okay, well, can we do things like red light therapy to help stimulate your mitochondria so you live a healthier life, you feel more energetic, things like that. So a lot of that, I think, has a lot of promise. I think there's one of the things I'm looking at more recently, just out of my own curiosity, is the hyperbaric oxygen therapy, for example. And for that, like, the options are getting better. Like you can actually get these devices in home, and there are some more affordable options. But I think as we improve our tech, like obviously the cost is going to start to come down on some of those. Still may be a little expensive, but not entirely prohibitive for people who just want to improve their daily lives. So that's really cool. Now that's on the actual device side of things. So if you're asking me the question about, what the role of medical engineering is going to be in the next 10 years as far as software. So this is where my focus is primarily, because I'm just more of a software guy, as far as my experience. I think we're going to continue to see more and more implementation of AI. And I feel like this is an obvious thing that I'm saying, but I think we're going to see more and more of this implementation of AI in medical practice, particularly with information retrieval. The AI tech is starting to get good enough, I think, to really be a great assistant for medical professionals who maybe need to be able to pull up a lot of relevant information very quickly, so that way they can spend more time with their patients, They can give them more relevant information. The knowledge retrieval systems are really, really interesting to me in general. I think it's very widely applicable to the medical field, but also to other professions, like even to software engineers, or businesses in general. Like being able to have a knowledge base of information and being able to ask questions to like a chatbot and have it give you the relevant stuff instead of you having to go sift through all this information. Or, it's particularly problematic. Like if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, maybe you know some words, but like you don't know the exact words or the exact phrasing. Like typical search systems are going to be very difficult to find what you need. And so these smarter AI empowered knowledge bases, I think, are going to be really, really valuable for all fields, but I think especially for, in this case, the medical engineering field. So that's kind of what I foresee. I also foresee, a lot of AI tech being used to help speed up medical research. Just like it can be used, for your own personal knowledge base, it can be used to gather information from research. Maybe help you identify like places that are where maybe gaps in studies or across studies or something like that. So that's kind of how I look at this. I think we're going to see an acceleration for sure in the next 10 years. And that's just because the better our tools get, the faster we can move. So it's just a matter of how people use the tools. Arshia, that was a fantastic question. Thank you for asking that. Let me take a second for folks who maybe have just kind of trickled in. If you are here because you saw that I was doing a book giveaway of Alex Hormozi's new book, $100 Million Money Models, we're going to be giving away 5 copies at the end. So go ahead and fill out the form. I've got the link in the chat on YouTube, Facebook, and in our private community on the AI Employee Club. Go ahead and fill that out if you are interested in receiving a book. If you bring a friend, by the way, and have your friend fill that form out, you are going to also get extra entries as long as your friend puts in there, hey, I was brought by this person, So just so you know, you and your friend could both get a copy. So you'll get an extra entry for them also entering. So if you're here, we're going to be doing that for that giveaway. We're going to be doing that in about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. If you're here and you have questions about AI, automation, or systems, then this is your opportunity to ask those. I have a background in software engineering. I've done this for over a decade now, and I'm here to answer your questions, no matter how simple or complex they are. Go ahead. I've got the link for you to ask your questions in the chat as well. All right, so I will see those come in live on my side. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our questions here and see if we have any additional questions that have come in. I also want to try to do better about checking our chat because traditionally I've not been so great about that. So let me see here. Okay, nothing in our chat. Then let's move on to our next question. So Mila, I think it's Mila. Mila asks, how do I train AI to avoid buzzwords that my clients hate? Okay, this is a very interesting question. Most people want to use the buzzwords. I appreciate that you want to avoid certain buzzwords. So Mila, that's going to come down to the context. So when you're using these AI, you have to make sure that you are very explicit in your context, like the prompt that you're giving it. You have like a system prompt if you're doing more technical stuff where you can put it, or you could just put it into the prompt that you're using maybe to interact with the AI. For example, if you're just using ChatGPT. So you'll have to say, hey, there are certain buzzwords. You might want to like create like a category, like maybe you say buzzwords that I don't want you to use. And it's like a headline in that prompt. And then you say under that, you explain, okay, there are certain buzzwords that my clients hate to see, and I don't want to include those in any text that you output. And then here's the list of those words that I do not want you to use. And so then you put that into your prompt. If you want to make it even better, then what you might do is you might give it some examples. And so typically you want to probably give them positive and negative examples. So I'm trying to think of a good buzzword. Let's say, let's just say AI is the buzzword, right? So if you don't want AI to be used as a buzzword, in the example, then you might say, here's an example of a phrase that would typically include AI. And it may say something like, we maximize efficiency using AI technology on a daily basis. Well, you might then say the example of the output, the way it should be corrected is, you might say like input or example or bad example, and then you say good example, and then you say we use automation strategies on a daily basis to improve our efficiency, or something like that. So by giving in your prompt the exact phrasing of things that you don't want or that you do want, and then giving clear examples, that's going to help guide the AI to make sure it doesn't make those kinds of mistakes. So great question, Mila. Let me take a look and see if we've got some additional questions that I can answer while we still have a little bit of time today. Okay. All right, let me see here. So Brandon, oh, this is a really interesting one, Brandon. Okay, sorry, I was excited about it. Brandon says, how do I use AI to turn reviews into social media posts? This is a good one. So the way I would think about this is probably framing it as like a story. So what you could do, for example, is you take maybe a review that you get from one of your clients, and then you kind of create maybe like a quick bullet point, example of, hey, this is what happened when I had this person come to me. This is what happened. They had this problem. We solved it using this, doing this in this amount of time. These were, my measurable results. And then you say, here's the review from this client. And then you could say like, please build me an engaging social media post in a story type format that would help show people why our services are useful for them. And so you could do something like that. You provide it all of the relevant information, including the quote itself, and then you give it to the AI and then let it write your story out for you. Now, obviously, you're going to probably want to use some kind of imagery. What I would probably do, you could do it a couple ways. You could literally give it, use some kind of AI to generate an image for you with the text from your client. And so it could generate that as a photo for you. So that's also an option. There's some really good options, by the way, now with image generation, with like we were just recently playing with Google's new Nano Banana. And it was absolutely fantastic. So that's actually coming out in a podcast that I do with some friends in the real estate space called Automate Me Please. And so you guys will probably see that in the next week or so come out. So that is one option. You can obviously use other image editing tools, and a lot of these have like AI built into them. So you can have it help you generate something that looks pretty nice for the most part. So I'd play around with a couple of those options. These image generators are just getting so good though. Like honestly, you could probably do that. And if you've got a picture of your client or your customer, I will say this about like Nano Banana. Nano Banana will let you like take an image or two images and then like blend elements from them. So you could say, hey, here's my picture of my client, and here's the post. Could you generate a whole, here's the text that they gave me, the review that they gave me. Could you generate a nice looking image with this review and then put that in there? And it should, I haven't tested that specific use case, but it probably will generate you a nice looking like little review icon or something like that. So that would be a very interesting test. Maybe we'll try that actually in just a minute. I'm very intrigued by your question, Brandon. You know what? We only have a minute or two left before I look to see who has entered for our giveaway today. So let's do that. Actually, I want to do that live. So give me just a moment here while I pull up and let me see here. We're gonna pull up Nano Banana. I gotta find a. Give me just a moment here while I'm finding a good tab. I've got so many windows, y'all. This is my life working in software. That's okay. So let's see if we can show off. I gotta find another window. Where is here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so we're gonna go to gemini.google.com, and then let me put my thing over here, and then you guys are gonna get to see. Let me see here. I've got to now share my screen. Okay, with left screen. There you go. Okay, so to answer Brandon's question, so he asked, okay, can we use like specifically? Let me look up so I use his wording. He says, how do I use AI to turn reviews into social media posts? Okay, so this is how you could do it using like image generation and combining the review. So let's say that we've got, we first need a review. Let's say I'm going to do one for my business. I need a fake, a review that emphasizes how great my services were at my business. And we'll say, I don't know, let's say cool AI receptionists. Please create that review. Okay, so this is just so that way we can get some information. Like, we just want the text, and it's so I don't have to think of something specific. Please just make up something. All right. All right, so we got this. So that whole thing. And so, okay, using our example from earlier, let's say we've got this review, right? And we want to turn it into a story format. So we want to create a social media post that outlines the review in a story format, so that we can demonstrate how others will benefit from our services. Okay. So we're gonna get that, and then it's gonna generate something. Oh, it's actually generating an image for us automatically. Oh, very interesting. So it just kind of did that. That's neat. It did a before, it did an after. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to include an image. So please, and for this one, we're going to say create image. And so this is how we turn on the nano banana. Okay. We say create, we click that little image tool, and we're going to say, please generate an image of a shorter format of the review using the included headshot of our customer in that review. So what I'm gonna do, I don't want to show you guys all of my files here on my machine. So let me go add a file. I'm gonna say, okay. All right, so I've got that little photo there you can see of myself. And so now what we're gonna do is hit enter. Hey, Edwin, I see you there, man. Yeah, absolutely. I am more than happy to help folks. Let me see what else you said here. So, your quick question: if I were looking for software that could answer questions and respond interactively, essentially functioning as an AI assistant, what platform would you recommend? Okay. Answer questions and respond interactively as an AI assistant. I guess it depends on what you're doing. If you're really kind of looking, Edwin, if you're looking for like an AI assistant, what I would say is you might actually find some good use case just out of using ChatGPT nowadays, because and also Claude will do this kind of stuff too, I believe. They're able to connect to like a Google Drive. And so if you're just needing something that can answer some questions like from your internal documentation, you could probably leverage those tools. You just have to go in and like, there's like a little plus icon inside of ChatGPT for you to be able to add your folders. Let me see if I can actually pull that up for you real quick. So this is a little bit off topic. I'll come back to the AI. I just want to make sure my friend gets his answer here real quick. It's been a while since Ed and I talked. So let's see here. So let me make sure I'm logged in. To answer your question, Ed, so if you're talking about like being able to use it to reference your personal like internal documentation and things like that, you should be able to like come in here and actually like add from Google Drive. And so if you click that, that's gonna like pull, like give you access to pull information up. It's been a while since I last looked at this for myself. You may also be able to configure some of that in your settings, but that's what I would consider using. I mean, ChatGPT is getting so good now. It is essentially becoming and Claude too, like it's essentially becoming an AI assistant for you. And they just recently announced some additional tooling that like you can now hook into like these MCP powered tools. Supposedly, that's what I heard. So I need to double check that. But that means that you can even build your own tools and like have this thing connect to them, which is fantastic. And they've got the voice mode and everything. I'm using ChatGPT Plus, by the way. So I'm paying like $20 a month to be able to get access to this, and it is very much worth it in my opinion. So Ed, hope that answers your question. So back to the Nano Banana. So let's see here. We said, absolutely. Let's get that review into a shorter, more visible, appealing format. Let's see. I don't really like that as much. So let's say, can you please, let me look at this again. Our phone lines were a nightmare now thanks to cool AI receptionists. Yeah, see, that's messed up a little bit. Are seamless, we never, yeah, okay, it looks like Google Gemini is struggling. The Nano Banana is struggling a little bit with the text. Maybe it's because I asked for it to do it in one shot. So let's try this. Let's remove that, and let's say, can you please give me the shorter format of the review? Okay, our phone lines were a nightmare until this. Okay, so let's say like, let's go with option 1. Let's go with option 1. Now, please use option 1 to generate a social media image showing it as a testimonial along with my photo from before. And I think it can reference the the previous context. So we'll get a shot. Nano Banana is still a little new. I'm also kind of still playing with it and learning some, testing the boundaries of this thing. So we'll kind of see how it does. And I may need to, oh, there we go. That's really nice. That's much better. Okay. So our phone lines were a nightmare until we found cool AI receptionists. Their human AI is so human-like, handles calls, bookings, and more. Okay. So this is looking and sounding a little better. I think that's probably more in line with what we want. Learn more. Yeah. Okay. So we could probably tweak that a little bit. We could also say, please recreate the image, but make the person in the headshot smile. Now, if we do this, because it doesn't already have a reference for what I look like when I'm smiling, it may not do a very good job. And so if you want it to do stuff like that, you may need to provide it some additional images. This might not look very good. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I love it. That's so funny. Okay. All right. If we gave it an image of me smiling, it probably would be a little better. Or if I had a couple different images with like different poses and things like that, I could try that. I could also say, hey, zoom in on that a little bit, and it probably would work. Anyways, hopefully that gives you, Brandon, that was a great question. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of what is possible. So play with this, play with, some of these image editors, like Canva, for example, stuff like that. You're going to have some good options there, and that should get you going pretty far. Okay, so we took a little bit more time than normal to kind of go over that, but I just thought this was a really cool tool to cover. Nana Banana can do some really incredible stuff, like product placement and stuff like that. So I would definitely check it out, give that a try. And it's free to use. So you can go to gemini.google.com and you can start playing with it today. And I'm not like on a paid Gmail account when I'm doing this. So hopefully that gives you a good idea. Okay, y'all. Well, I think that is going to conclude our questions. It is time to get to the giveaway portion of our live Q&A for today. So let's see if we've got anybody who signed up. The reason we're up to 5 books is because nobody has been signing up the last couple times, which just means that if you signed up today, then you have a much greater chance of winning, which is fantastic. If we don't have any entrants today into our giveaway, then we are just going to roll it on over to the next one. So next one, we'll do 6 instead of 5. All right, let me go take a look here and see what we've got as far as our entrants for today's giveaway. Got to reload the page. Okay, I don't see any there. Let me just make sure I don't have any errors in my system. Let me go to my forms here. And let me make sure I'm last 7 days. All right. So looking at our entrants for today, we finally have our first submission. Edwin, you are our sole submission for the day, so you are definitely going to be getting a book. I see you here, buddy, and I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you separately, send you the information so that way you can get that delivered to your house. Congratulations, Edwin. I'm so glad you got it. If you've got other friends that you know who might want a copy, then tell them to come next time. I usually try to do these on Monday evenings. I'm thinking about doing these more frequently, so just kind of watch my social media to see if I post that. I got to figure out the timing of that. But anyways, thank you for entering, Edwin. Thank you for everyone who has come. Thank you for asking your questions today, folks. This was fantastic. I got a lot of good information to work from in today's session. I really enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. But before we do, what I want to do is extend an invitation to you. If you enjoyed today's Q&A and if you want to get reminders about future Q&As, then I have an email list that you can join. We send those emails out like a day before, and then you get like a 10-minute reminder. So if you want to be able to participate in future live Q&As and get those reminders, then you can sign up at that link. I'm going to go ahead and post it here inside of our chat on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So if you want to get those reminders, you can go sign up there. Now, if you want more personal, like one-on-one interaction, so that way you can ask additional questions, you want an extended live Q&A, if you want to get access to our one-day challenge for setting up an AI phone receptionist and go high level, you get access to that recording. You get access to all sorts of special resources. We're slowly building these things up over time inside of our online community called the AI Employee Club. It's meant for professionals who want to be able to learn how to grow using AI. So we're still kind of getting started. You know, we're growing, we're small, and that's okay. That just means that you're going to get more personal connection with me if you have questions, you need help with something. And then as we add more resources over time, you're going to lock in a price at where it is at today. So if that's something that you would like, then you can join the AI Employee Club. I'm posting the links here in YouTube and Facebook. And as a special welcome bonus for anybody who joins, or rather the next 150 people who join, you will be getting a book included in that. So we're giving away copies of Alex Hormozi's book to the next 150 people who sign up. So you sign up today, you get access to the course, you get access to extended live Q&A, future resources, etc., plus a book that's like 30 something bucks. So anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. As always, it's a pleasure to hang out with you. I really enjoyed tonight's questions. Hope you have a fantastic evening, and as always, take it easy.